This episode of True Bloods is brought to you by Matchday Money. Show your team spirit right down to your fingertips with Matchday Money. Matchday Money are reusable press-on nails in the famous red and white that will stick through every high five, fist pump, and final siren applause.
Their nails take only 10 minutes to apply and are easy to remove post-match, or can keep them on for 2 weeks. You can choose.
Don't just wear your Swanee scarves, add Matchday Money to your matchday routine. And for the non-money wearers, it's a perfect gift for any sports mad person in your life.
Is this the most one-eyed podcast?
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game changing.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeble.
Riddle me that.
Yeah, riddle me that, Deeble.
Do you remember? It's what we're here to
This is True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast in the home studio today to review our tight tussle against the Cats, our first game at Henson Park against Freo and everything else Swannies girls. I am joined by the man who got to see his favourite player kick her first ever goal in person. It's Alex Donnelly. Alex, how's it going?
I mean, I feel like that win was one for me. It was one for the faithful who trekked down to Goomba on Saturday afternoon. But yes, not realizing that it was TK's first ever goal, knowing that it was the first of the season was a height for celebrations. And I also may have just absolutely yeeted my Guernsey at her post game and just got her to sign it. The shock on her face was hilarious.
She was like, what am I even signing right now?
Yes, had no idea what was going on. I was like, "It's your match worn. Please sign it." She's like, "Oh, okay." And my text didn't work. It was a great experience for all concerned.
It sounds like it was a pretty phenomenal day down there. I was obviously very jealously watching at home, but was it a good crowd down? From reports, it sounded like there was more Swans fans there than Cats fans, so I would
Oh,
love to hear about it.
yeah, there was absolutely more Swans fans there than there was Geelong fans, which was great. Like we sort of all rolled in. You'll roll in the one gate to watch the game there because as you can tell, if you're watching it, you didn't see the crowd. We're all
Yep.
under the media boxes basically. And yeah, there probably would have been 2 to 3 thousand people there, but more than half of
Yeah, I
them were
haven't
Swannies,
seen
more than
the
Swannies
crowd
fans for
stats yet.
sure. It's probably in the match report there, which I can look up. But yeah,
That's fine.
we made a fair bit of noise. In fairness, we were all in different parts, which was probably silly of us. We probably all should have got together and got right in the one spot. But you know what? We had sort of all corners covered, like on the forward 50 on both sides. There were Swans fans there, and then there was myself, Maddie Donnelly, the Brad Logan, a few others there. The cremator, of course, travelled down. Nicola as well. There's probably about 10 of us there, all having a
Nice.
great time, making some noise, throwing a bit of lip at the 87-year-old geriatrics in front of us. We all had a great day. It was a good time. No one got in a fight. It was just good, fun footy banter. It was a lovely afternoon, and it was
Yeah.
almost like everything went to script.
Well, I think you can say that again because I think it's worth saying we don't have a crystal ball. But it did kind of seem like we do with how this game played out. Everything that we predicted was going to happen in this game came off, which was quite frustrating at certain points, but it worked out in the long run. Obviously, as we said, Geelong were going to start hard and start, fast. They did. We came back harder, like we said. Ali Morfitt was back to some of her best form of the year. That's what we expected would happen. Tanya kept Georgia Prasparkas relatively quiet for Georgie Prasparkas. And that was your invitation to the party. My invitation was Darcy Maloney. So it was all in all, like it
A
was like the script
perfect
was written by
afternoon.
us and it came off perfectly.
Yeah, and I will say, like it says here that Georgie Prasparkas has ended up with not 27 touches or so. She had 12 of them in the first quarter, and I'll be honest, at the end of the day, she was largely ineffective with the footy. I know
Yeah.
she's had a big day numbers wise, but yeah, honestly, a couple of marks, intercept marks that she took, yeah, great. Other than that, not super noticeable. Other than the fact she's obviously got the blonde hair that goes everywhere and the
Yeah.
long sleeve. I think TK did a fantastic job on her after quarter time. But yeah, it was Geelong had their bozo quarter in the second quarter, kicking two behinds to 4 goals two, and that basically set up the win. And the, I said it last week, we beat Gold Coast by 1,000,000 points. There's a lot to improve on. There's even more to improve on this week, which is
Yeah.
good. we're coming up against a team this week, and we'll get to that later, that's just conceded 100 points in consecutive weeks and looks as bad as any team we've seen in a long time, and they're meant to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to that in when the time comes, but there was definitely th areas that concerned me more watching this game than the Gold Coast
Yes.
game, which is to be expected. We won the Gold Coast game by basically 100 points. Like it, you're gonna find out more things from this. I felt in this game there was a bit more passengers than in the previous games. It didn't feel like everyone was as cohesive. But that's going to happen when you have such a young team. They're going to come in and out of form. They're going to, be able to pull off a game plan better against some teams than others. It's to be expected. But there were that we've the Ask the Faith we put out kind of goes through the things that we think will be improved on. So we maybe we'll drop like talk about that then.
Yeah.
But there were, still some glaring issues specific to this game. And first and foremost, it was entering the forward 50.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was being at the ground. Madison Clark right behind me. We were echoing the same sentiments all afternoon with the delivery inside forward 50 being suboptimal to say the least. And it's funny that we had better efficiency than Geelong from inside 50s that resulted in scores. But I just wrote it, watching the replay before I came on here now. It's like forward entries are deplorable. Too many bad kicks, wrong options. Our first three forward entries. Uh, uh, Montana Ham broke through the centre, just kicked it long and left to in front of two Geelong players. Laura Gardner had a chance to hit Chloe out the back. She took the short option straight onto the chest of a Geelong player, and then Julie O'Sullivan snapped one high over her head to absolutely no one. Geelong took a
Yeah.
mark. That's a summary of what most of the forward entries were like during the day, and it was really annoying to watch. But also, Geelong did set up that way with Meg McDonald sort of sitting there, and Crockett Grills was back there a few times as well. But it doesn't really sort of set the scene that for the first 10 minutes, we were really on the ropes. They had 95% of the footy in their
Mm.
forward half for the first 10, 15 minutes, and they had the first nine inside 50. So to bounce back from that shows that this team does have a lot of grit within them.
Yeah, and it's a funny one because so I was watching the game with my dad and he was very panicky and stressed at quarter time, being like, "Oh my God, this is going to be, blowout." And I at no point felt stressed about it. Obviously, there were things that I thought was could definitely be improved upon, and there was, the forward 50 entries was the main thing, but also not being able to get out of their our defensive half in that first quarter or the first half of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But I just knew that the girls were going to pull it in. I just knew that within me that they had that capability. And yes, it's probably not a good thing to think that way because eventually that's not going to happen, and there's going to be a team where they can't pull that off. But I just could see it that it was going to switch gears because you could even see it in that first quarter. Towards the end of
Yeah.
that first quarter, we completely started dominating from that point, and then in that second quarter was completely ours.
And you sort of look at it like their first goal led from, I think it was Laura Gardner or Lucy McAvoy. Both of them had the exact same thing happen in the exact same spot of the ground, where the ball was coming towards them about sort of 60 meters out from goal, basically directly in front, just in the center corridor. And they both needed to attack the footy harder. And I just can't remember if it was Laura or Lucy at the point. Both of them did it
Yeah,
the same. Didn't go hard enough, gets spoiled over the top, and then in fairness, that first goal to Geelong was a great kick around the corner. And it's resulted in a score. They needed to commit to the footy harder, and it just both of those times did result in a goal and a behind for Geelong. In better game, like this is one of the better teams we're going to play this year. Obviously, we do play.
hmm
We're going to play North and Adelaide later this year, and Carlton, who look really good at the moment too.
and Melbourne.
Against those teams, they're going to score against you when they do that. Whereas last week we got away with that. So
Yeah,
it's a bit of just endeavor early on and really putting your body on the line. Whereas they do that all the game, but those two moments really stood out. And there was a similar
yeah,
moment on the weekend in another game where a player went the body instead of putting her head over the ball. It cost her team the game. So
yeah,
it's those things are very noticeable, and it's
yeah. And I
it's
think
an improvement.
uh, I, what stood out to me was just being the ability to try those things because we are up against a good team. Because Richmond, I feel like is a bit of an anomaly game just because we're never going to play a game again that's on the ground that small. So you
Also, they
kind
are
of,
dog shit. They are dead
yeah,
set. Gone. Put them
which
in
we
the
thought they
bin.
were going to be a good team this year, but or at least middle of the pack, but no, they are
Yeah,
down the bottom.
they are useless.
And Gold Coast is the worst of the worst. So it's nice to see how we stack up against a team that was pegged as going to be one of the competitors this year. Now, will they still be? I don't know.
Oh, they'll
But
make finals. I know they're 0 and
yeah,
3 right now. They will 100% make finals this year.
this game to me, not to talk too much about Geelong, it was enough. It was just more to show me that they can run out a game,
Yeah.
even though they still lost. There was enough there for me to go, okay, they are starting to remember how to play football because it
Well,
did look like for a while that they had forgotten. But
Geelong have the bit of the Richmonds about them that they rely very heavily on Prasparkas to score a lot of goals. They rely a lot on Ash Maloney, who kicked three, had 24.
yeah,
She was brilliant. But when she wasn't in the game, Geelong weren't in the game. Same with
hmm
Prasparkas, same with Nina Morrison. They're their sort of three big guns. And Meg McDonald had an all right day too. But you notice when they weren't getting near the footy, Geelong weren't getting near the footy.
yeah,
Whereas we can talk about the Swans game. And I did AFLW today earlier this morning and went through the Swans game. I didn't mention Laura Gardner or Chloe Molloy other than Chloe's goal once. This
yeah,
shows all Montana Ham as well. So we're looking at a game where players who had been playing well really stood up when our guns had quieter days. And that
yeah.
shows the depth of this squad.
Yeah, so and I think as well, it's not like these players aren't guns that stepped up. They just haven't had as big a starts to the season as no, I wouldn't even say expected, but just haven't have, exerted themselves into the game as much. But they really was able to do that in this game. And I'm specifically talking about Ali Morfitt and Sophia Hurley. And I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent about Sophia Hurley later because
Yeah.
she is my girl and everyone knows that. And I get, I'm going to take the right. But it was really, really good to see in a game where I'm pretty sure Laura Gardner got tagged out of that game. It was kind of hard to tell on the coverage, but she was not really getting near the ball. And I think there was a level of tagging happening there. But when she is getting tagged, because it's going to happen, she is the best player in our team. She's the ball getter. They're going to
Yeah.
tag her. It's nice to see that there is the next person and the next person and the next person that can step up and fill those shoes because she is not going to be available to just, jump in and always be the ball magnet that she is.
Yeah, it's funny. She's had 24 disposed, so she had 12 at quarter time, so she only had 12 for the rest of the game. But then Sophia 27, Chloe 24, Ali 23, Zippy with a 20, TK popping in with her regular,
Yeah.
12 to 17 touches with 16, and Mon had a quiet game with only 15. But it was a lot of shared load throughout. Like Alice Mitchell didn't do a lot with the footy, but did a lot defensively. Like, I'm not expecting
Oh,
her to get a lot of possessions.
yeah.
Same with Brenna Tarrant. They both had fantastic games, I thought, defensively. Whereas it's a few of those others, like 7 touches is the most Holly Cooper's had this year by a long way. So it was just good, even spread around the
Yeah.
grounds. Like I thought Lara Housiger had a good game too, even
Yeah.
only having 12 disposals. She added a lot of pressure, laid 4 tackles. And that was the thing that I noticed about the Swans. Our tackling pressure was amazing. Like, I'm not going to call people out. There was 4 people that didn't have a tackle on the ground, and one of them was Georgie Prasparkas. How does she not have a tackle and she's in the midfield?
Okay, also, how does she not had a tackle and has gotten 5 coaches' votes?
Yeah, I don't want to
That
go on that.
yeah, that really upset me this afternoon. I
She
was like,
got
that's a
8.
joke.
She got 8.
Sorry, you got 8. Yeah, not even 5. She
Yeah.
got 8. And
Uh,
Ali should have gotten 8. She
nah.
she was the second best on the ground.
Maloney should have got 8. She
Oh
was
yes, but not
yeah.
for Sparkus.
No.
Sparkus did not have that good of a
No.
day.
No, she didn't. You
But
just
let's talk about some good stuff.
yeah.
So there were 3 particular highlights to me from this game. Obviously, there was a lot of highlights, but these 3 started out to me.
Yeah.
Darcy Maloney's goal against her old squad. That reaction was so good, and
Yeah.
Molloy kicking it to her, even though Molloy had the much better angle.
Yeah, Chloe, like there will be a message to my good close personal friend Chloe Molloy going, mate, what are you doing?
No,
Why'd
that
you
was
kick in the snacks?
definitely. I
Oh
think that
yeah.
was definitely planned. Like, Zane Red and White was messaging me after the game, and he was saying they could hear how much the Geelong players were getting in Darcy's ear, and Chloe was just there cheering her on the whole time.
Yeah.
This is building up to be one of my favorite duos. They are looking so good and dynamic together. It's actually really exciting to see. But her being able to kick a goal against her old
The
team was just so
celebration,
good.
the celebration showed that like, obviously did a great interview that you did with her. And if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it from the preseason. There's more to what she said within that interview than how she really feels. There's a lot going on under the people don't leave footy clubs for no reason
Yeah,
whatsoever. There's more to it than falling out of love with football and everything else. And like we're seeing it today. Like I've just got a text message now, and because it's a Swan show, I can talk about. Charlie Curnow has met with Coxie.
Of course he has.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
But
there's a lot like so players don't leave footy clubs for no reason. And you
yeah.
know, with Darcy and LG, we can't forget her. She was playing against her old club too.
Yeah.
There was that little bit of extra edge. You could see at the ground watching Darcy throw herself with reckless abandon at time into a lot of those contests. She was there to prove a point.
Yeah. And which is I think phenomenal. Like the second second highlight really comes back to this as well. And that was Jazz Grierson scoring her first goal since the first season. That
Since
is
round one.
incredible. Since
Round
round
one.
one, and there was the only goal kicked that day in that
Yes.
game. And she's in her fourth club, come across town, and is just shining. She had a
Yeah.
phenomenal game, and to see her slot that goal, that was just so exciting. And yeah, it just comes back to seeing these players come from clubs that maybe didn't, I don't want to say didn't respect them because I think for the most part they do get respected, but just they just weren't finding their proper game style at these clubs. And to see them come to our club and thrive is just such a beautiful thing to see. Especially someone like Jazz, who's now at her fourth club, and she
Yeah.
really hasn't shone at any of the ones previously, but she is like that mainstay in our back line now. And can't imagine the team without her, even though she's only played 3 games for us.
Yeah, and you could say the same just about a few of the other players like Lulu as well, already floating in
Yeah.
there. Like this what the Swans did, and we'll probably talk about it a lot throughout the year. What the Swans did in the off season has will just sort of fly under the radar because
Hmm.
we didn't sign any guns, but we went
Hmm.
out and filled holes that we needed to fill. The
Yeah.
depth that we built, we talked about it before the Gold Coast game and even this week, and we'll say it again. 11 players who didn't play in the game against Gold Coast and Geelong last year played on the weekend. So
Yeah.
it goes to
And
show.
in the media, it's very easy to say, oh, we have Chloe, Ali, and Laurel, hopefully all season. That is why we're doing so well. And yeah, that is a huge part of it. I'm not going to deny that. But these six, well, the 9 new players have
Yeah.
also made a massive impact into that change and development that our squad has. And then the third highlight was Tanya Kennedy's first goal. That was I feel like last year there was a couple of behind she kicked and we were both
Yes.
just waiting for it. And so for it to happen in this game, and I think no one knew because she didn't even really celebrate. No, like everyone got around it, but not in that regard. And they said it
Yeah.
on the broadcast and we were all like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And then I got the text message about it from you as well.
Yeah.
And how come one of your highlights wasn't Cynthia Hamilton running faster than Usain Bolt to get in a fight at the end of the third quarter?
Because I knew you were going to bring it up.
Yeah. That was like
That was the
I've
only
never
time you texted me all day.
yeah, I was too busy enjoying myself. I've
Yeah.
never seen someone move so fast than when Lucy McAvoy was in a bit of a push and shove, then Cynthia Hamilton moving faster than the speed of sound.
Okay, to be fair, on the coverage, you couldn't tell how far away Cynthia Hamilton was.
Oh,
I had to take it from you of how far
look,
out of the scene she was.
in this story that I'm telling, she was in the opposite pocket on the other side of the field. She moved that quickly, but she came from nowhere and she was right in there. And then some small gal from Geelong decided to try and push and shove Ali Morfitt. At which point the siren went and Ali just started laughing at her.
To be fair,
Yes.
like that's totally valid. Maybe let's talk about Ali because
Oh,
we
what a
came into
game!
this game going, Piper Dunlop is not particularly, one of the leading rucks in our competition, and Ali is going to have a good day. And a good day did she have? If Soph wasn't the best on ground, it was Ali. Like
Yeah,
just back to peak 2023 Ali in this game.
yeah. This was her best game in a long while.
Yeah. Doing everything right. Like I don't have a stats up, but just constantly you would see her everywhere. And
Yeah,
again, very Brody Grundy-esque. And for people that haven't seen that article, she actually said a couple weeks ago that Brody was her ruck inspiration before he even came to the Swans. And so she was very ecstatic when he did eventually come to the Swans, and she's learned a lot from him. And I think you can really see that in her game style. She plays in a way that isn't just what you expect from a ruck, it's a proper midfield role.
yeah. Like she's taken 9 marks. I think the best thing about it was that she took marks when we needed them at key
Mm,
parts of the game. Like she took a mark late in the last quarter as well, jumping over the top of someone. But then even some of the ones coming out of the back line, she was just down the line. It was what we needed. It's what the men's team have needed for about 5 years as well. But 18 hitouts as well, 23 touches in the end. And the thing which will go underrated, which not go underrated, but won't be talked about as much, is her tap work, because my God, did Georgie Prasparkas read her taps better than anyone on that field at sometimes? It'd just be bang, tap down, and all of a sudden the ball was in Prasparkas's hand or even
yeah.
Morrison's hand. Like they read her taps a lot better than what we did. And I think that's something, it's another little thing that we need to get better on. We're a bit sluggish and on the back foot a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that speaking of her tap downs, one of her tap downs in particular did go to the correct player, and it resulted in my favorite team goal, maybe ever. So Zippy takes the kick out. Ali can't mark it, taps it down to McAvoy. McAvoy kicks it to Gardner. Gardner kicks it to Hurley. Hurley spins out of out of traffic
Yeah.
and hits Cynthia right on the chest and results in a goal.
I
That
don't think I've seen a
was
better kick from Sophia Hurley ever. That was inch perfect.
like I it wasn't really a set play, but it was just so perfectly structured and so clean to watch this end-to-end football that you're just like, oh my God, this is going to happen so many more times this year. And that is so exciting. And the fact
Yes.
that, yeah, I think there needs to be a little bit more cohesion within the midfield in terms of when Ali is doing a tap down, being in the right positions and knowing where she's going to be. But seeing that that is possible and Luce especially can get in those positions is really exciting. And it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so good seeing her back fully fit
I know.
after such a miss last year. Like she is, if we're going to make a decent run towards the finals and hopefully going as far as we can with realistic expectations. Like my expectations are that we win a final this year at the moment, and I think that's realistic. She needs to be fit, firing, and healthy. And I think also deep down she'll be burning inside that she missed the finals 2 years ago too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. She's such a competitive beast that yeah, she would be wanting to be there just as much as everyone else. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk quickly about Chloe because from the outside, coming off a 7 goal game, it looks like she had a quiet game. But if you actually watch that, I think her game was probably the third most impactful on the ground. There wasn't really a moment where you would just be like, why is Chloe there?
Yeah.
And like it would be because she would take the mark every time. But you're just like, why is she there? Like some
So
of the
Chloe
safest hands I've seen in a long time.
she just basically became the on-field coach at certain points of the game. There
Mm,
was a point where Mads was over my shoulder going, "Hey, Dee, she needs to get in the game." 3 seconds later, Chloe Molloy's at a centre bounce attendance because she didn't get her hands on the footy to start with, and she's
yeah.
got the carte blanche to be like, "No, get out of here, Sophia. I'm going to take a centre bounce here." Just so I can get around the footy. And then she was going a kick behind play. She was directing traffic. And I'm glad that it's the one good thing Daniel Harford's done in a long time was pointing out that she was a kick behind play. And then the camera worked to get her on that, showing her directing traffic in those last 3 minutes. But she did that after she kicked the goal for about the last 5 or 6 minutes. So this wasn't a big Chloe game. It was an important Chloe game. She still had 20 odd disposals, but she
Yeah.
set up 3 goals too. So
Yeah.
you
It was
can't understate her importance to this team.
exactly. It was yeah, she might not have been the best on ground, but the way she went about this game was some of the best that we've seen. Like it's just so exciting to see a player be able to inject themselves into a game in multiple different facets. And I mean, it's the reason I love her so much and the reason I'm wearing her jersey right now, but I digress. Um, I mean, while I'm, going on about some of my favorite people in the world, I'm going to talk about Sophia Hurley. So if I would say she's had a quiet start to the season, but we really haven't talked about any of her in either of the games so far because she's had just your standard sort of midfield
She's
games.
done
Like
her job.
she's done her job. And usually if you do your job on this game, sorry, if you do your job, we don't really talk to you about you on the podcast because we're like, yep, you did your job. Perfect. But this was just a masterclass. 27 disposals at 74% efficiency with 9 score involvements. We
Yes.
only had, I'm trying to do the math, 17 scores, and she's had
Yeah.
9 score involvements.
Yeah, so she's had more than half of them.
Yeah. Like, just a absolutely phenomenal game. To be fair, she did play games like this last year. This isn't anything that we didn't think Sophia had capable to her, but it is that mentality of like, well, a team only usually has one tagger. So if you want to tag LG, Sophia Hurley is right
Yeah.
there, and she's probably going to hurt you more than Laura will in some regards.
Yeah,
But
exactly. It's and then you add in like Chloe throws herself in there, Montana will throw herself in there. Like we have what I and I think it's a big thing that I suppose that is underrated in the AFLW too. Midfielders or forwards that can go into the midfield, but obviously their main job is to be forwards. But so Chloe Montana can go in there, get a clearance, do that, but they can go forward and kick a goal. Sophia has shown that she can hit the scoreboard. I mean, I got to shout out the great Zane Red and White and the Cremator. Both love Cynthia Hamilton and would
yeah,
probably love her to see a wrecking ball through a center clearance if we needed. I don't think Cynthia would mind that too, because she
definitely
feels like
not.
one of those ones like there is the theory that the human body craves contact. Cynthia Hamilton craves running through people like they're just, 10 pins.
It- you can pretty much um relate every one of the girls on our team to one of the boys on our team, and she is Paps. Like
Yeah.
she's just Papley,
Yeah.
like, but honestly more fun.
Yeah.
Like absolutely love it. And that goal was so fantastic, and her tackling was amazing. Another person whose tackling was amazing, Holly Cooper. Like she
Yes.
maybe didn't seem like the stats were particularly impactful, but she felt like she was everywhere. Similar in that regard, where a midfielder that can go, sorry, a forward that can go into the midfield.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good that they can do that. And I was just thinking that just when you're saying shots for goal, the one thing that I needed to sort of mention was Montana's set shots. Oh, that was a bad miss in the last quarter. It just she doesn't look like she's got confidence when she has to think about it.
yeah,
And I don't know what the fix is. Maybe go speak to the Pirate, see what he did after he kicked 17 behinds against Port that day.
got
Uh,
injured.
yeah, yeah, don't do that. But yeah, she needs. I think she, and I'll go back to it. And it's the first time I've probably said it all year. Hit the bell, ding,
Ding.
Montana, get a
My
set
bingo
shot
card
routine.
stamped.
Yeah, Montana, maybe just get a set shot routine because you see Cynthia has one. Like that's what I noticed as well. She takes the mark, walks up to the step, walks back a six, 7 steps, marks out a spot, walks back another 7 or 8. Same with Chloe. So it shows that our best goal kickers in the team are doing that. So maybe it's something that she can work. It's the one little
Yeah.
thing she's got to add to a game.
Yeah, I will say I felt like in this game, apart from Montana, even though she kicked 1-1, the actual in front of goal kicking was much better this week.
Yeah,
Much, much better. We did kick 7-8, but I think like four of those were from rush behinds, if not more. And so
yeah,
you can't really blame that on goal kicking. So the fact that they've already improved upon that within 3 weeks is really, really exciting, and it's only going to get better. But there was that I think just that Montana goal and the Laura Gardner goal, the shot at goal, which what was behind, were the only ones where I was like, probably should have kicked those.
yeah.
And there was a lot more of those.
Sophia Hurley must have been in the third quarter when she got clear about 30 out or 40 out. She took the shot. It didn't make the distance. She had time to take a bounce and kick it and, run in another 10, 15 meters and
Yeah.
really make a sure thing of it. And those are those things. You see the open goal. She gets a rush of blood. The adrenaline's pumping. Hindsight in the review today, they're like, you had more time to take, like, where's the chat going? No, no,
Yeah.
no, keep running, keep running, keep running. But, those are minor things because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we won.
And there was a really good piece of commentary after the first quarter when obviously we were down by 20 points. And then Tanya kicked the first goal for us, or Darcy. I think it was
Yeah,
Tanya. Or it was after Tanya's goal when they were talking about this. The feedback coming out of the huddle, and they heard Tanya saying is, we are not talking enough, we need to talk
yeah,
more, and that's what they really brought into the rest of that game. And I think that's something that there's going to be a really big focus going forward, is just being there to hear what the other players are saying. um
mm,
which, yeah, it's really good. I that is probably the best hallmark of a good team to me, is being able to fix your mistakes in the game as opposed to letting them run on until the end of the game, and then you have to come back and fix it next week.
yeah. It's all right. At the end of the day, we're 3-0, and
We're 3-0.
that's the main thing to
How?
sort of
Oh
take
my
from it.
God, Alex. Like I thought 2-0, and I thought there was a chance we could get 3-0, but I was so at the start of the year before we had started playing games, was so stressed coming into this game. I was like, this is going to be our first real test. 3-0 is phenomenal. And obviously there's 5 teams on 3-0 at the moment, but 3-0 percentage of 202,
Yeah.
like we really can't ask for more than that.
No, I mean 4-0 is what I want to ask for next.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about that in the
Yeah.
preview. I just quickly also, I mean, I've been doing it every week, but really want a big shout out to the defensive line. This I came into the preview saying that was the area I was most concerned about. I wanted the tightening up of the defensive line. That was the area we really needed the most help in, and the fact that every week they keep standing up and they keep showing why we brought Ash Van Loon and
Yes.
Lulu Pula and Jazz Grierson in to be with Brenner and Alice Mitchell and Zippy Fish as well. It's just so nice to see.
Mm. And a side note, just before we wrap up this, Brenna Tarrant's traps and shoulders, my God, I'm envious. She is jacked.
And happy 50th to Brenner. I'm glad we got a win for you. It's breaking the trend of
Oh,
that we
yeah.
have in the men's.
Yeah.
But we will be right back with the social seg after this. This episode of True Bloods is brought to you by Matchday Money. Show your team spirit right down to your fingertips with Matchday Money. Matchday Money are reusable press-on nails in the famous red and white that will stick through every high five, fist pump, and final siren applause.
Their nails take only 10 minutes to apply and are easy to remove post-match, or can keep them on for 2 weeks. You can choose.
Don't just wear your Swanee scarves, add Matchday Money to your matchday routine. And for the non-money wearers, it's a perfect gift for any sports mad person in your life.
This is True Bloods, and we are back for the social segment, and we will read out the question this week because Polly forgot, and I'm going to go completely under the bus with this.
Yeah, I did forget. I'm hoping you figured it out what it was last week, but this week we did pose a question to the faithful, and that question was our girls at 3-0 and sitting in our favorite position as Swans fans in third, but there are still areas we can improve upon. What is the number one area you'd like to see incremental uplift in? Best answers to be featured on the potty. And I think we should start with a very special speak note from one of our favorite listeners. We absolutely love him. It's the ever reliable Saundo. So let's hear what Saundo has to say, and then we'll
Yep.
jump into the responses.
Polly, Alex, Faithful, Saunder from Pennant Hills here. Hope you're all doing well. A fantastic display from the girls this weekend, topped off by a Sophia Hurley spinning pirouette and a goal with an off-break Morley would be jealous of. But, of course, there's always room for improvement. And to answer the hashtag Ask the Faithful question, I have two things I would like to see incremental uplift in. The first thing is in the umpiring department.
Yeah.
Higher opportunity feels like less of a rule and more like a philosophical question. Is it an illusion or does it exist objectively? I guess we'll never know unless the umpires show a bit of consistency. And as
Ugh.
for our game, it's starting games, the engine room. It's hard when Georgie Prasparkas is in there with leather poisoning. Tanya Kennedy did put up a pretty good effort, but we were 8-zip down in clearances to start the game. We're a good team. We were able to dig deep and run over them. But if we want to be a great team, we can't find ourselves chasing the game right early on. So that's something for us to work on if we want to reach that level. It's getting really hard to keep that lid on. I'm thinking top four, but there are levels that our game can get to. So 1 week at a time, and we'll go from there. Up the potty, up the Swannies, go girls.
Thank you, Saundo. That was very, very good. We didn't talk about it in the review because I'm trying not to let Alex get another notch in his bingo card. But yeah, the holding the ball interpretation was
Oh, it sucks.
something to be desired.
It sucks. I'm going to say it every week. It sucks and I hate
But
it.
even in this game in particular, the two teams were being interpreted differently. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the one that LG got pinned for in like the last 30 seconds was a bit rough. But anyway, we will
We
go on.
won.
But to Saunder, I agree with him there. Yeah, getting beat 8-zip in the clearances to start the game. And we've said it. Our first 10 minutes every game have been the most sluggish of our game. We struggle to get into games. I don't know what it is, but hopefully it's something that we can turn around, and it's
Yeah.
something that we need to turn around because when we play better teams, they'll kick 4 goals and we'll be done because we won't get back 4 goals against a North or an Adelaide or a Melbourne.
Yeah. That's the thing. And maybe there's a level of knowing that they're still not 100% fit, even though they look super fit. And so knowing not to, conserving their tank a little bit. But It definitely is an area that we need improving in. And thank you for the speak note, Saunder. And hopefully I'll get to see you on the hill on Sunday. I
Mm.
think there might be a doozy out there for you and I.
Yeah,
So
and just quickly send in more speak pipes. Hit the speak pipes up because what we do love here, social
yeah.
interaction.
Yeah, and I figured out how to not have to play it through my phone.
Yeah,
So that's the best part. So
that's a win. It's a
it
win.
is a massive win. But I'm going to jump over to the Instagrams because I really like this one, and this was what would have been my answer. It's from Nat Taylor 9449. They've been awesome for mine, but I want to
For
see
yours.
incremental. Sorry, yeah, for yours, Nat. I want to see incremental uplift in our forward 50 entries and decision making going inside 50s. The team have scored well so far this year, but have a number of entries where we have not lowered the eyes or honored the player on the lead. Our only minor tweak needed, but it will all add, sorry, but it will all e it will add even more pressure on opposing teams' defensive outfits if we can get that right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more there, Nat. It's we talked about that in the review that some of our options going inside forward 50 were just they were deplorable, and it's something that you expect better of. But we're still hitting the scoreboard. If we tighten those things up, we'll start putting big scores on some teams. And I think eventually, when AFLW gets to 18 versus 18, the Sydney Swans are going to be one of the teams that gets advantage most.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll go across to your Facebooks where the great Zane Red and White, Zane Caravan. Side note, that's his little daughter in the photo running out with Chloe Molloy. She had a day out. She's officially the good luck charm mascot of the Sydney Swans, and I expect her to be at Victoria Park on the hill in 2 weeks' time. Like everyone else listening to this podcast that lives in the greater Victorian region, please come to Victoria Park in 2 weeks. Join the boys and the gals on the hill. We will just go set up a corner somewhere in Victoria Park and just make it our own.
Exactly right.
I'm gonna
Very
st- I'm
much
gonna
Whitten Over vibes.
I'm
So
gonna
Alex
start
is
building that
planting the
momentum.
seeds now. I am very upset because I will be at a Hens and cannot fly to Melbourne that weekend, and I will also not be able to watch it live. So you need to get around. You need to get down there. But it is going to be
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm very jealous. And even in the last one, when it happened last year, that was the best part of that whole weekend was hanging out on the hill. So get down to
Yeah.
Vic
Oh,
Park. Not
that
that we're going to
weekend
lose to Collingwood,
sucked. Anyway,
but
back to
Alex,
Zano.
back to
Yeah.
Zano.
Hard to say as we've been so good bar the first quarter, but one thing that annoyed me on the weekend was multiple times streaming forward and no one inside 60 meters of the goals. We ended up pulling the handbrake or kicking it out to space. There's Priv's paddock out there for her, for mine, for yours, Zano.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to over to your Twitters now. This is Charlie, who goes by FGDGHBNK.
Uh, good burner there, Charlie. Good
Yep.
stuff.
It is obvious now, but the starts have been a big watch for mine since the practice games.
Yours.
Been below par every game so far, nearly cost us this time. Quarter four against the Tigers and Cats also bad. I think our fitness is very good, but need to show it playing 4 quarters.
He is right there where we've had flat spots in our last quarters. We had the flat spot for the first 5 minutes against Richmond in the last quarter there, and obviously the last couple of minutes in this game. And I'll tell you what, being at the ground, getting to see the players up close, they were cooked at the end of the game. And you think about it, it's been a tough slog against Richmond in the heat up on the Gold Coast, then another trip away as well. The
On
fact
two of
that
the bigger venues as
yeah,
well,
that
which
we've got
obviously means more running.
we've got an 8 day break into this game against Fremantle, who just got the shit kicked out of them, is a great thing. I think the extra day off and not traveling is good, and Freo have to come across as well off the back of a couple of big losses and a few injuries on the weekend too, which could be very sort of helpful for us. But back to Facebook, was a Brown. We need to see some incremental uplift in the goal celebration department. Need to bring the same energy they bring to their TikTok accounts. And well, if you're going to have a crack at their TikTok accounts, like AKA
No, I
everyone who
don't. I don't think
no,
that's a crack. I think he
it's not.
genuinely
It's
enjoys it.
more no because there are a lot of people during the week because Port Adelaide haven't started the season well. Had a crack at Matilda Schultz who decided to kick four and have 25 on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, they need to bring a bit more. Like Chloe did a little Taylor Swift celebration. I mean, Darcy's was just an outpouring of emotion and anger that could have set something on fire. And
Yeah.
of course, Cynthia. But we've got Cynthia.
Yeah, she's really holding the game, really raising the bar and the
Yeah.
I mean I should all the average of the goal celebration at the Swans. But I do agree. I thought that was a good one. I
Yeah.
yeah, I you know it is there are some where we were behind. And I can understand why there wasn't really a celebration. But like I would have loved to seen Jazz just pull out something amazing because she hadn't kicked one in
Well, she
so
did
long.
she did the double hands and the go on these ones,
Yeah.
going, "Oh my God, I kicked a goal! This is
Yeah.
great!"
She couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and just TK didn't even. Oh yeah, kicked a goal, sick. Let's
Yeah,
keep
sick.
going.
Never done that before, but hey, it's fine.
Yeah. Another one, Mark Thompson, and I agree with this one too. We didn't really talk about this a lot. Was got to stop giving up possession through uncontested intercept marks. Way too many on the weekend, and there was too many times the ball just found itself into Georgia Prasparkas's hands
Yeah.
randomly off a kick out. That's just something that's just a skill error that can be fixed up very easily. Lowering the eyes and looking for better options rather than just bombing it away. That's one that we can fix, and I agree with Mark. There was a few too many times I was just like, how did it end up in a Geelong player's hand?
Yeah. Um, this one from A Robertson 1236. Center clearance work would be top of my list. I think they're going to say they haven't won one in the first three games, got slaughtered by Geelong, losing by 8 in the areas around the ground. The girls need to work harder in that area at training this week for the rest of the season. Yeah, I think that comes back to what I was saying about the midfield not feeling super cohesive when it comes to the actual center bounces and balls ups. I think that's the main area in the midfield that needs to work because everything else is working for the midfield. It's just that. I mean, if we can start winning clearances, can you imagine how much we're going to win by?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of football getting drilled down the throats of Montana Ham, Cynthia
Yeah,
Hamilton, and whoever else is going to be in that forward line going forward.
hopefully,
And a
not
lot
to
of
be
a lot of the
biased, hopefully back Privatelli.
yes, a lot of these other ones are all sort of the same along the
Yeah,
lines of more composure when kicking for goal, the uncontested marks, and the center clearances. So it's good to see that everyone sort of realised that there's sort of two or three main things to work on. And if we've noticed it, I'm sure Scotty Ghost ones and the rest of the crew have noticed that too. So I'm not too worried. This weekend against Fremantle, which we'll talk about after this, is a really good chance to sort of steer the course in the right way. And we're saying that being 3-0, which is absolutely hilarious.
yeah, it's funny. I think if you had said to us in the preview, guys, when you're recording post too long and you guys are 3-0, you're gonna still be talking about the things we could be doing better. And again, I think we come back to that's not necessarily a bad thing. We still have 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sorry, until we start coming up against hard competition. And that's
Yes.
plenty of time to fix this stuff. And so that's so exciting. But I think we'll wrap up the social seg there and we will be back just after this with the match preview and tipping. Back to the Matchday Money preview. Head to matchdaymoney.com.au for all your nail needs and use TrueBloods10 for 10% off at checkout. But Alex, we're back at Henson
Yes.
Park!
Yes.
Woohoo!
I mean, I'm not going to be there, but you'll
I
be
know.
there.
I will definitely be there.
Up on the hill?
105 on Sunday. It's going to be 19 degrees and sunny.
Ooh.
I'm probably going to end up getting sunburned, but that's okay. It is that time of year. It is spring, and it's going to be an amazing time on the hill, and I cannot wait. I'm expecting a pretty decent crowd the way we
Yeah.
started.
If you're a Swans fan and you are and that lives in Sydney and you are listening to this and you're on the fence about going to the game, get down to Henson Park. Like simply must get to Henson Park. The
Yeah.
Swans want to have 6,000 people there, break their attendance record this year. They're going for that. And also, it's very important people going to games as well because
Hmm.
it's not just about going and supporting. This is also for the betterment of the game long term. If we hit crowd KPIs, there is more football next year. What do I want as a footballing fan? More football. What do I want to see the girls play? More football. Get to the Henson, or watch it on TV. Just have the
Yeah,
game
yeah.
on some way.
Yes, but and the way that the girls are going, it always happens. If your team has success, the more likelihood you are going to watch. And we are coming up against a team that lost by 70 points and then lost by 100 points at home, at their
Yeah,
home, and they're
yeah.
flying to Sydney. So look, I don't want to count my chickens, but
I'd be flat
if
if we
this,
lost this. I'd be
I'd be
seriously flat.
really upset.
So
Like, there's no reason we should lose this game.
this is a Fremantle team that won a final last year. They beat Essendon in the first week of finals last year. And talking to a friend of mine who works in WA footy media, just going, what in the Brisbane one? Okay, Brisbane just turned it on because they had the shits that they lost to Hawthorn. But then to do it again, to concede, I think it was they conceded the fifth biggest score of all time against Brisbane, and then now they've conceded the biggest score of all time. And Gold Coast have conceded the second and the sixth biggest in the last 2 weeks. But Gold Coast aren't good, and you can
No.
explain that away. This is a team who played finals last week that arguably got stronger in the off season. A couple of injury concerns. But as this person said to me in the video, he's like, tell me what their game plan is, Alex. I'm like, to be not good, to look like they're 75 years old. And this person was like, yeah, as a player's son said to their dad as we are walking off after the game, hey, dad, mum's team looks a bit cooked. Couldn't have said it better myself than that guy's than that son of the player. I'm not going to name names, but yeah, it's
I mean, it wouldn't
that
really be that hard to work out.
that kid knows ball. Yeah,
Yeah, they just
it's
had, and like it's been unenjoyable to watch as
oh
well. Like, I mean, obviously, if you want to watch North be North and just put on a bag, you can watch it for that reason. But to see, like, I really liked the Frio team of last year, so it's quite sad to see them bottoming out like this. And I don't know what's going on wrong because they do have good talent. Like, this is going to be a proper test for Ali this weekend. Mim Strong is a phenomenal ruck.
well,
So.
she didn't play on the weekend, so
Yes, she did. She was their best on.
oh, okay. My stat sheet does not have her playing. That's good job on the Fremantle website not updating that for me. That's fantastic. Gabbo Driscoll did go down too. Or was it Gabbo Sullivan? One of their defenders went down from Fremantle, so
What
not
a
at all
shock. That
ideal.
field is awful.
Yeah, oh, the Fremantle Community Oval. Okay, and Indy Strom is obviously Mim's younger sister playing in defence as well. She's going to be in for a long afternoon against Chloe. Like she tried. She's playing on Talia Randall, Alice O'Loughlin, Bluffland Blogue. Like they're just going to kick goals. But this is a team that just got absolutely demoralised on the
Yeah.
weekend. I'm struggling to see a way for them to turn it around, especially as I said to this person, if the Swans get their run and handball game going, what are they going to do? And they're like, oh, that's not going to be fun for Freo because Henson Park is a bigger oval as well.
Yes, it is like halfway between, I would guess, GMHBA and Fremantle Community
Why did this
Stadium or
thing
whatever
not
it's
work?
called.
Now I'm annoyed. Sorry. Gabby O'Sullivan got injured for Fremantle. That's who I was talking
Yeah.
about.
So, look, I to come back to Mim, she did have 29 hitouts last week, which is ridiculous in a team that lost by
Yeah,
that
but
much. So
but
she
she
was
had a
the
lot of
only one
hit-outs last
trying.
year.
Yeah, she was the only one that it felt like her and Alice McCarthy were the
Yeah.
two that felt like they were trying. So I do think it's actually going to be a good test for Ali just to see if because we did go into the Geelong game going Piper Dunlop is not the best
Yeah.
ruck. So it'll be interesting to see how Ali goes up against proper competition in Mim. I don't think if she doesn't have a fantastic game, it means we lose this game. I don't think that's going to make a difference in the long run in this game, but that is probably the biggest
Yeah.
concern area in this coming into this.
And the bigger news. So O'Sullivan should be fine, but Emma O'Driscoll was concussed yesterday, so she's definitely not going to be on the
Definitely out.
plane.
Yeah.
She's an All-Australian intercept defender, and she's a very good footballer. Not having her eh, is an advantage for the Swans, which is
Especially in a
the way that
team
we
that,
enter forward 50. It's
yeah,
it's very good.
to not have her there, that's another check in our box. It's kind of hard to preview because I don't want to. I'd hate going into games being the favorite. It always feels a little bit
Love
worse
it.
when you lose a game when you're the favorite. But there just doesn't seem a way that we lose this. It just there's so many things going wrong at Freo right now.
Yeah,
It's more of a con like I was more concerned going into the Gold Coast game.
yeah, and the thing with Fremantle is like they've kicked two goals on the weekend. The weekend before against Brisbane, they've hardly kicked a score as well. Like they've kicked they've kicked 35 points, but they've conceded 100, which goes to show that once you get through their midfield, which Kiara Bowers is still trying her best in there as well. Once you get through their midfield, there's sort of nothing really going on there in the defense line. Like Ash Brazel as well. Like I don't know how she's going at the moment, but you just look at this team. There's just not a lot going on there. Like we lost Bella Smith to them. She kicked the goal on the weekend, but she's hardly got near the footy.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a
It's
good
not the
forward
Bella
line either.
Smith that we were experiencing at the end of last year.
No.
It's a different player. Or they just she just isn't being the ball isn't being delivered to her. Oh, she's not made like it just something's not clicking with this team and it's hard to see. But they do have another good player and that's Alice McCarthy. And
Yeah.
my assumption is TK will go to her, tag her out of the game, which is just
Yeah.
another going to be a difficult day for her because I don't know how they're going to move the ball if she's tagged out of the game. But
Well, Ash Brazel isn't
yeah.
going to play this weekend either. Anya Ty's out for the rest of the season with her knee. So like they are
It
cooked.
sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks. Like
They're
you
they're
don't,
having their bad injury year that we
yeah.
had last year.
It's going to be a potentially our percentage is going to go up even further from this game,
Okay,
which
let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but it would be nice if
it
we
would
if
be
we if we
nice.
win 70-7, it would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, well, because Melbourne and North don't play each other this year, Melbourne could go undefeated and still not come first.
Yeah.
That's the kind of year we're looking at right
I
now.
mean, I mean, we could go undefeated and not come first. What are you talking about, Pol?
If we go undefeated, that means we beat North.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that that
You
means
need
they're
to,
not going to come
yeah,
first.
you need to believe. You
That's
need
what
to
I'm
believe.
saying. No, that we would come first. Melbourne
Yeah.
could go undefeated and not come first, is what I'm
Ah,
saying.
it's fine. We'd find a way to stuff it up.
Anyway, um, let's talk about selection because I think
Yep.
that's probably the more interesting part going into this game. I do think you could probably get away with still playing some of the young girls, but I think Amelia Martin's probably going to get dropped, and I think we see Beck Privatelli coming back for this game.
Yep.
I think Beck is just going to add so much more to their struggle of going inside 50. And I think that's why that was the biggest key annoyance to me from the Geelong game because I know that Beck, that is her bread and butter. She is sticky hands. Like, she
Yeah.
can take a mark. Whether she kicks the goal is sometimes could be, but she can take a mark. And so to us not being able to catch a ball inside 50 and knowing that there is a person on the sidelines that can was quite frustrating, and I really hope we see her back this week
Haven't played Fremantle for 2 years as well. Haven't played them since we played them in 2023. LG,
to make the finals.
yeah, LG had 35, best on in a shock to absolutely no one. But yeah, it's I think Beck comes back into the team for Amelia Martin and potentially Caitlin Reid might get dropped for Alexia Hamilton, but
That was my thought too.
that maybe, but I'm more leaning towards Amelia out for Priv in. That's my thought. And then just, the conspiracy theory of Priv didn't want to kick her 50th goal till she played at Henson Park.
She wanted to get in front of me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Darcy's gonna have a 50th game and Beck's gonna kick her 50th goal in the same weekend.
Mm,
That's what we're going with. It's a 50-50 game.
not against it.
Not again. Yeah. So yes, as I said, Darcy Maloney's 50th game, which is obviously really exciting. It's only her fourth game for us, but it's still a huge celebration because for context, 75 is like the 75 games is the most at the moment, or like the most recent milestone that people are hitting because
I think Marinoff's going to hit 100 this year. I think.
I don't know, because Ellie Blackburn was hitting 75 this weekend, so I don't
Yeah,
can't
Ebony
be
Marinoff, 96 games.
okay. Well, there
Yeah,
you go. That's going to be
there's
massive.
two players from Adelaide. I think her and either Randall or Ponta.
No, because it must be Ponta, because Randall had a 75 against Geelong. They
Okay,
kept talking
then
about
it's
in the
Ponta.
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Um,
two or three players that are going to hit 100 this year, and it's going to be in like consecutive weeks because it's all the ones that have played in all the grand
yeah,
finals.
that's the thing. Oh, that makes sense. I was wondering why Ellie was so far behind,
Yeah.
but that makes sense. Yeah, so we're only just getting people playing 100. So playing 50 is a massive achievement. So
That she's
like
playing 50 at 23 years
two
old.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very young. It's actually phenomenal to see, and I think she's going to have a massive one. I said when we played the Suns that someone was going to kick a bag, and I think that's going to happen again this week.
Yep.
I reckon maybe we see a Cynthia Hamilton bag this week.
I don't think
That's my
Henson
big
Park could handle the
prediction.
vibes if Cynthia has a bag as well.
Hey, look, I'm gonna have to say it right on the back of the hill because who knows how.
Yeah.
But Alex, who are you inviting to the party?
For mine this weekend,
Yours.
I'm gonna go with Holly Cooper.
Nice.
Just getting front and center to some Beck Privatelli contest, snapping around the corner. I need to see a bit of incremental uplift from Holly, a bit more work rate. Her tackling is fantastic, but I
Yep.
just need to see her convert in front of the big sticks. We didn't mention she gave the handball off to Montana Ham from about 40 out on Saturday, which Montana kicked that beautiful goal on the run. She knows what her distance is, anywhere within sort of 25 to 30 meters out's her go. But snapping around the heels of Priv and the tools at the forward line, I reckon she can kick two or three.
Love it. Yeah, I agree. I think it's her time to stand up because she's not been bad, but she's been, you know, she's been good, but there are definitely areas as a forward she could
Yep.
improve on. I'm going to invite co-captain Lucy McAvoy to the party this week. I think Lewis has been really, really good since going into the midfield, but I'm having to eat my words because I called her Clutchavoy in the preview, and she hasn't been able to kick a goal this year. And she was the one person on the team. If someone said, Polly, pick a player that has to kick a goal to save your life, I would have picked Lucy McAvoy. I don't know what's going on, so I'm hoping she finds her boots this week. But she's been phenomenal around the ball, and it's really exciting to see her not have to worry about going into that defensive line as
Yeah.
much. And so that's, yeah, I'm inviting Luce.
We need to get into the tipping for this week as well. Of course, brought to you by Matchday Money. Go check out
Yes.
Matchday Money. Get your nails. You could be looking good. Use the code on the checkout. Polly, what's the code? I've completely
True
forgotten
Blood's
it right
10.
now. There you are. True Blood's 10. Right now, leading the tipping, Philip Anton on 22.
Sorry,
Deebs,
how did you go last week, Alex?
I got 8.
So did I. Bloody Brisbane
Yeah.
cost me a perfect round.
The ick about Brisbane is real. Philip Anton in front on 22. Deebs and Greg on the Goldie and Gig 65 on 21. Brady 93 and 14. Chris 14 on 20 apiece. Madison Clark is last on 14. Gonna
Yeah,
bring that
he's
up every
forgotten to
week.
tip multiple times so far,
Yeah,
so
but that's fine. I'm
yeah.
moving my way back up after tipping 8 on the weekend. But let's get into it. Start off with Casey Fields, 12:35 Saturday afternoon. The D's against Richmond.
The D's.
The D's win this. Big watch on these two teams coming back from Darwin as well. That was a slugfest, so this could be a
Mm,
belting. The Spoon Bowl, Gold Coast and GWS.
I reckon GWS.
Yeah, I think GWS too, which is absolutely insane to me that I'm tipping GWS. I just
Yeah.
think they've looked a little bit better. I watched the
Yeah,
highlights of
they've
the
kept it
Adelaide game.
closer
They
than
weren't
Gold Coast have been able to.
they weren't terrible against the Crows, so I'll give
Yeah.
them that. Carlton up against the Dogs, 3:05 at Icon Park.
Carlton.
Yeah, Carlton get the W there. Kazali Stadium. I think that's the one up in Cairns. Hawthorn take on St Kilda. I think that's Cairns. I'm going to go check that right now.
It might be. You know what? This is probably the game of the round for me because
It is
Hawthorn,
up in
even though
Cairns
they're
for
3 and
yours.
0, have not looked good to me.
Yeah.
They've scraped wins. They've been only been able to play teams that can't kick straight. And so I'm going to pick the Saints. That's going to be my upset of the round.
I'm going to tip Hawthorn. I think St Kilda are rubbish. And apologies, Melbourne Demons, Nam, St Kilda, Euro, Roke, obviously Indigenous round this weekend.
Yes.
We didn't say Swannies by how far. Swannies by how far against Walyalup, aka the Fremantle Dockers.
I wrote 32, and now I'm thinking it's going to be like 65.
47. Kawana take on the Brisbane Lions. That is the Adelaide Crows at Norwood Oval at the exact same time, which gives me the shits because I really wanted to watch this game because I have the ick about both teams, but I will tip the Crows at home.
Yeah, they were good against Geelong at home. So I think they'll have their edge on Brisbane for that in that regard.
Yeah. 3:05 at Arden Street, North Melbourne take on
North
Collingwood. How far by
Melbourne.
North? I reckon
I don't think they're going to hit 100 this week, but it's still going to be like 85.
82 to 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essendon take on Geelong at Windy Hill. I
I'm
still will never
Geelong.
go to Windy Hill again, but this is Geelong, first win of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Geelong. Essendon are also 3 and 0, but they are going to be tired from back from Darwin, and not that they've looked bad, but they've really scraped in
Still no
wins.
Bonnie Too Good either. Still
That
suspended.
too. Yeah.
And the final game of the weekend, 5:05 over in Perth. Wallachies Marara, the West Coast Eagles, off a big win, aka Ella Roberts, the best player in the competition, up against Yartapulti, Port Adelaide
West Coast.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Ooh, we both agree. Some people might tip Port after the big win
I
over the
can see
weekend there.
that, but I don't know. There's something about West Coast. There's something
They,
about them.
yeah, it's the Daisy Dust and the fact that they've got the best
Yeah.
player in the competition, Ella Roberts.
Now, I will quickly just talk about it because we didn't talk about it last week because it hadn't come out yet. But let's talk about how phenomenal our Indigenous jersey looks this year.
Oh yeah,
Same as the men's, but fuck, it even looks better. The red piping is just, mwah. And I have to say, seeing Zippy Fish run around in that jersey in particular, to have such a strong young Indigenous woman represent that jersey is just so
yeah.
fantastic to see. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it in person this weekend. And yes, I have ordered my Zippy Fish
The long sleeve
jersey.
looks awesome, by the way.
So sick, so
Seeing
sick
Paris
on
and
Cynthia
Cynthia
and
in it, I
Paris.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, like it looked so good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it in person this
Hmm.
weekend. It's the second week of the of Indigenous round, so get out and celebrate. Again, big shout out to any Indigenous listeners and all the Indigenous people that have made an amazing mark on this game. We appreciate you so much, and our club because we've had
Yeah.
amazing Indigenous players come through, and we really love that we get to celebrate you this round.
And unfortunately, to end like a very nice positive moment on a bit of a lighter side, Brisbane Lions, your Guernsey looked great until you put it on. It looked like an ass crack, unfortunately.
I'm not going to say that when I made a joke about that yesterday, I got backlash and I was the only one. So I don't know if that was misogyny or what it was, but yeah, it
Hey,
looked like
Polly
an
made
ass
women,
crack.
men on the internet mad.
It
Tick.
wasn't even a man.
Actually, we do need to mention that I got another. There was another tick on the list this weekend. I may have said about 1,500 times that Ella Roberts is the best player in the competition, given that she threw West Coast over the line against St Kilda. They were down
Yes,
by 4 goals at three-quarter time. Ella Roberts went, "No, no, no, not today."
not today.
Just you.
Her and Daisy are going to save the West Coast Eagles as a club.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a tick. And I got the TK kit signed, as I said at the start of the
Yeah.
show, that I
I think you might
absolutely.
be ahead of me now, though my Soph prediction I think did come off. So
Well,
there'll be an
TK
update. There'll be an update
TK
this
did a
week.
job on Prasparkas as well. She had 27, but no
That's true.
impact.
That's true. So yeah, you're pulling away from me, which is a bit scary because
Yeah, well,
I don't know what Alex has planned for me, but I'm not looking
I've
forward
got
to
I got
it.
time on my hands. This is going to be a postseason thing. I'm not going to do it till the
Oh no,
season's
I
over.
know. I
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah, so look, it's going to be a fantastic week of footy. Again, watch the games, watch our girls 105 on Sunday. I will be at Henson Park. I will probably be in my Chloe shirt because they have been shipped out, so they should be arriving pretty soon.
Oh yeah, Mads, you forgot to give me mine, and I was next to you for 3 hours on Saturday.
Literally the least surprising thing.
I hope
I
mine's in the
should have messaged
mail.
him for you because I knew that was going to happen. But there are a few sizes that we restocked. So there's a few smalls, there's a few mediums, and a few two XLs. So if you are wanting to get one, get them now before they sell out because Chloe's going to kick a bag again on the weekend. So
And
go and
Deb will
grab them.
continue to buy them.
Yeah, yeah. So and then also, of course, go Match Day Money, 10 10% off. Go support them. They're a great couple, really, really lovely. I am obviously in a different place if you're watching on YouTube, so I have not been able to get my nails, but I'm very excited to try and get them when I go back on Wednesday. So, yeah, but that pretty much wraps us up. This has been True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. We're number one in the hearts. We're number one on the charts. We're speaking words of wisdom. Up
Up the
the
party!
body.